这下彻底完了。
This is a total disaster. Suning has filed for bankruptcy and restructuring. Does this mean the 3 million yuan they owe us is gone for good? Yesterday, I posted a video online about Suning's unpaid debts, and it suddenly went viral. Seeing over 1 million views, I feel just helpless. One supplier shared her experience. Between 2018 and 2022, she was Suning's largest goji berry supplier. She worked diligently to provide them with high-quality products, and Suning even awarded her an Outstanding Supplier Trophy. She had always hoped for a long-term partnership with them, but no one could have imagined that a publicly listed company like Suning could end up filing for bankruptcy liquidation. As of now, Suning still owes her more than 3.2 million yuan. This was confirmed by a court ruling last year. She doesn't know what to do. On February 7th, Suning Group, the former retail giant that once owned the football club Inter Milan and dominated the home appliance industry, has entered bankruptcy restructuring. Three of its subsidiaries, Suning Appliance, Suning Holdings, and Suning Real Estate, are now undergoing restructuring. Hundreds of suppliers were caught off guard. Large amounts of unpaid invoices have left many facing financial ruin. More and more business owners are coming forward online to expose Suning's shady dealings.
For 4 years, I've been chasing Suning to pay what they owe me. Their bank-accepted bills bounced. A company like Suning. I've never seen anything like this. It's a disgrace to the e-commerce industry.
This supplier shared that his nose hair trimmers and razors had once ranked in the top 10 on Taobao. When Suning noticed, they approached him, urging him to sell through Suning's channels. Thinking it was a great opportunity, he moved all his product listings to Suning's platform. But after just 6 months of sales, when it came time to settle payments, Suning suddenly changed the terms. Instead of paying in cash, they insisted on using bank-accepted bills. On August 20th, 2021, a 1.6 million yuan bill from Suning bounced. That's when the supplier realized things were getting dangerous. By that time, their monthly sales had reached over 4 million yuan, and they were expecting more than 10 million in payments soon. In the end, Suning owed them over 10 million yuan, and to this day, more than 8 million is still unpaid. The business owner said it feels like crying for help with no response. Suning Group was once considered a leader in China's retail industry. Its founder, Zhang Jingdong, started the company with just 100,000 yuan, initially operating a small air conditioning store. Over time, he expanded it into a nationwide chain of electronic stores and later transitioned it onto an online retail platform. Beyond retail, Suning aggressively expanded its investments across various industries, including real estate, logistics, sports, and esports. In 2016, responding to President Xi Jinping's vision of turning China into a football powerhouse, Suning acquired a 70% stake in the Italian football club Inter Milan. Zhang Jingdong's son, Stephen Zhang, became the club's owner. This was one of the most high-profile moves by a Chinese company into European football and marked the peak of Suning's influence. That same year, China's Football Association and other organizations laid out plans to make the country a global football superpower. In September 2019, Suning acquired an 80% stake in Carrefour China for 4.8 billion yuan. Today, however, over 100 Carrefour stores in China have shut down. In 2020, Suning invested 20 billion yuan in Chinese developer Evergrande, but when the company ran into financial trouble, it had to convert its debt into equity, failing to recover the original investment. Its financial situation continued to deteriorate. By 2021, Suning reported the largest net loss among all A-share listed companies. In 2022, its revenue plummeted, its debt soared, and it faced multiple lawsuits over unpaid debts. By the end of 2023, many Suning affiliated companies across China had filed for bankruptcy. It's worth noting that at least 3 state-owned trust companies under the Chinese central government have also been caught in Suning's collapse. Since 2022, after taking over troubled real estate projects from Evergrande, Sunshine City, and other failing developers, Minmetals Trust, a subsidiary of China Minmetals Corporation, stepped in to support Suning Real Estate. In July of that year, Suning Real Estate transferred 100% ownership of Nanjing Wangzigu Real Estate Company Limited to Minmetals Trust. By the end of 2023, CITIC Financial Asset Management, under CITIC Group, launched a bailout project for Suning.com, with a maximum fund size of 5 billion yuan, starting with an initial 1.5 billion yuan. Meanwhile, Zhongrong Trust, a subsidiary of China National Machinery Industry Corporation, also suffered losses. Internal trust industry materials reveal that the defaulted product was called Zhongrong Trust, Jiyue 123 Fund Trust, with a total planned size of 2.6 billion yuan. It had actually raised 2.3 billion yuan with a 2-year maturity period. According to insiders, the Juyue 123 fund has been in default for nearly 4 years, with no repayment in sight. On May 22, 2024, the American investment firm Oaktree Capital announced that due to Sunning's failure to repay a €375 million loan secured with Inter Milan shares as collateral, Oaktree would take over Sunning's stake in the football club, in accordance with the loan agreement. This marks the official end of the Sunning era and a complete collapse of Chinese corporate involvement at the peak of European football. Some analysts have weighed in on Sunning's downfall, arguing that its collapse didn't happen overnight. They believe Sunning played the same financial game as Evergrande did, leveraging debt to expand recklessly, constantly shifting money around to cover liabilities. As the debt snowballed, the company inevitably plunged into crisis, dragging down hundreds of suppliers and business partners along the way.
豪言要做中国的沃尔玛。
Back in the day, every new Suning store was a guaranteed success. Zhang Jingdong ran the company from its Nanjing headquarters, boldly declaring his ambition to make Suning the Walmart of China. He even mocked his long-term rival Liu Qiangdong for not making a profit. But years later, Zhang himself ended up with more than 10 billion in net liabilities. He became a notorious defaulter. Suppliers were so desperate that they staged protests outside courtrooms, demanding their hard-earned money. So, how did Suning destroy itself? According to online discussions, it all came down to manipulating supplier payments, playing cash flow games, and moving money around, essentially treating suppliers like an ATM. To put it bluntly, it was a classic case of making something out of nothing. In 1990, Zhang Jingdong started out with a small 200-square-meter air conditioner store in Nanjing. Within a year, he had captured 70% of the local air conditioner market using a simple yet powerful strategy, getting inventory first and paying later. At the time, air conditioners were slow to sell, and manufacturers were desperate to clear stock. Suning took advantage of this with 2 key moves. 1. Buying inventory in the winter and selling in the summer, allowing them to secure prices that were 30% lower than their competitors. 2. Using credit guarantees to delay payments until after summer sales were completed, essentially giving Suning a constant supply of interest-free working capital. Suning then reinvested customer prepayments into opening more stores, selling more air conditioners, and collecting even more supplier payments. As the business expanded, so did this cash pool, allowing Suning to build a nationwide monopoly. It followed a simple model: collecting cash up front, delaying supplier payments, expanding its capital pool, and leveraging its scale to pressure suppliers into lower prices, further strengthening its market dominance. But when JD.com rose to prominence, forcing Suning to shift to e-commerce, Zhang Jingdong simply applied his offline cash flow tactics to the online world. Supplier payment cycles were extended from 60 to 70 days to over 100 days, sometimes even longer. Suning was constantly accused of delaying ad payments and logistics fees, frustrating suppliers to the point where many said, if you do business with Suning, you'd better have 6 months of living expenses saved up first. According to online commentators, this kind of cash flow manipulation was always about using other people's money to chase one's own dreams. Evergrande was a prime example of how this story ends. Evergrande CEO Xu Jiayin used pre-sale funds to build apartments, while Zhang Jingdong used unpaid supplier bills to fund investments. One thing spiraled out of control, the whole society was left to pick up the pieces. Suning took suppliers' money and spread it across the globe, investing in real estate, securities, logistics, sports, esports, mobile phones, and even power banks, expanding its empire like an addiction. But things didn't go as planned. The bigger the empire, the more holes there were to fill. Eventually, it all collapsed, and Zhang Jingdong's wealth evaporated by 93%. According to the 2024 Hurun Global Rich List, Zhang Jingdong's fortune has shrunk to just 8 billion yuan, down from 102 billion yuan 4 years ago, a staggering 94 billion yuan loss. Online discussions point to a long list of failed investments before his downfall.
2013年做文娱花了2.5亿美元买 PPTV， 结果4年亏了10亿。
In 2013, Suning spent $250 million to acquire PPTV, only to lose 1 billion yuan within 4 years. In 2017, it built its own logistics network and spent over 4 billion yuan to acquire Tiantian Express, but the service was so unreliable that customers joked that getting a delivery depends on fate. In the end, Suning had to sell the company for just 10 million yuan, essentially giving it away. Suning's crown prince went even further, buying a prestigious Italian football club and pouring 3 million yuan into it over 8 years, only to see it all go up in smoke. He was eventually pursued by creditors worldwide. Years of investment losses severely drained Sunning's cash flow. By the time it completely collapsed in 2023, some Sunning Plaza locations couldn't even afford to pay their air conditioning bills. An ironic twist considering the company's origin story. Some believe that while Zhang Jingdong was seen as someone who helped many people over the years, most of his investments were disasters. His downfall was sealed when he toasted drinks with Xu Jiayin and invested 20 billion yuan in Evergrande. Sunning's failure was inevitable because Zhang never grasped the broader economic trends in China. He assumed the economic boom under the CCP would last forever. He didn't understand football, had no industry expertise, and still blindly followed government policies to gain favor, ultimately misjudging the situation and losing everything. If he had shifted his investments overseas earlier, things might have turned out differently. If a retail giant like Suning couldn't survive, what's happening to other brick-and-mortar stores in China? Let's take a look. This is terrifying. Do you know how bad it is? It's 8 p.m. right now, and I came to the mall with my family to watch a movie. Only a children's play area and a cinema are open. Everything else is closed. My God, is the economy really this bad? Look at this, it's 8 p.m. and not a single store in the mall is open. The only place with lights on is a children's play area, but there's no one inside. I'm from Jian, a fourth-tier city, but this is still the urban center. The mall used to be in a prime downtown location, always bustling with people. Imagine how bad the economy must be for all these brick-and-mortar stores to be struggling like this.
沙坪坝区爱德华医院研发
This is Chongqing Shapingba. The Yubei District Interior Design Company Chaoye Home has collapsed. The noodle shop Taping Hua is gone. Shufen Skewers on Jiujie gone. Zhou Shixiong Hot Pot on Guanyin Qiao Beicheng Tianjie also gone. Crocodile Hot Pot on Jiujie in Jiangnan gone. Yubei's Jiyue Auto is bankrupt. Jiujie's Soho Bar is down. Starlight 68 Bar done. Juxing Bar on Beibing Road, gone this year. Yonghui Supermarket in Long for New One Street on Guanyinqiao, gone. Yonghui Supermarket on Dashiba, closed in September. Yonghui Supermarket at Beipei District, Tiansheng Lijie, gone.
看一下网上都把实体店都给
Look at what e-commerce has done to brick-and-mortar stores. Wiped them all out. Huge supermarkets are shutting down overnight. Shouldn't someone be regulating online sales? There's so much counterfeit stuff, all scamming consumers. It's obvious that the economy is declining. The mall used to be so popular, and now everything's closed, completely empty, like a ghost town. Many people blame the collapse of retail giants and physical stores on e-commerce, but Suning also had an online business. The real problem is the broader economic downturn. Some say it's impossible to find a stable job, while others notice that migrant workers are disappearing.
路上还是没人。我们从初期开工。
Open since February 4th, and we haven't hired a single person. I don't know why. The job postings are all here, but no one's coming.
Look at this year's job market. It's already February 7th, and there's still no one applying for jobs.
给大家分享一下中国最大的
Let me share with you China's biggest ghost city. Look at these buildings. One has only 2 households living in it, another just 1, and some buildings are completely empty.
Some believe that the collapse of Evergrande, Suning, and other industry giants is ultimately due to China's ongoing economic downturn and the resulting drop in consumer spending. But how bad has it gotten?
出现了一个新的名词，叫极致低消费。
There is a new term now, extreme low consumption, meaning people are cutting their spending to the absolute minimum just to survive. And this trend has already reached the central business districts of first-tier cities. Do you know what's happening there? In prime commercial areas, you can now find self-serve meals with 1 meat and 2 vegetable dishes for just 12 yuan. Burning Grass Jelly now sells lemon tea for 4.9 yuan. Haiti offers plain tea for 4 yuan. Cha Bai Dao has a yogurt purple rice drink for 2.9 yuan. And Mi Xue Bing Cheng has gone even further, selling ice cups for just 1 yuan. Even with prices this low, the bubble tea industry is still facing a wave of mass store closures.
A netizen from Guangdong said that half of the families there are struggling to afford meals, but people hesitate to believe it because on the surface, everything seems fine.
The truth is, people are just keeping up appearances. I have a friend who hasn't driven his car for months, obviously trying to save on gas and parking fees. His entire salary goes toward his mortgage, yet property values keep falling. The financial pressure is immense. Everyone is terrified of suddenly losing their job. If that happens and they can't keep up with mortgage payments, their entire life could collapse overnight. I saw a news report recently that said nearly 90% of young people in China are deeply dissatisfied with their current situation. About 500 million people are lying flat, just passively getting through each day. Nearly 600 million people feel their lives have lost all meaning. And from what I see around me, it's true. More and more people are choosing to lie flat. Some have tried everything and failed, while others don't even bother trying anymore. It makes me wonder, have that many people really lost all their goals? Have they lost their beliefs? Do they truly feel that life has no meaning anymore?
Meanwhile, real estate agents are saying that everyone in Shanghai's Pudong district is selling their homes.
好像整个1月，华侨的房东都在卖房子。
In January, landlords in Huachao were all trying to sell their properties. Many of them are willing to take huge losses, losing their monthly payments, down payments, and even covering extra costs just to pay off their bank loans. Near me, Bankrupt properties have over 540 listings, yet some owners still insist that housing prices will rise. On February 10th, Chinese real estate giant Country Garden announced that its January sales had continued to plummet, reaching only 2.26 billion yuan. That's a 59% drop compared to the 5.5 billion yuan from the same period last year, and a 34% drop from December 2024's 3.4 billion yuan. That same day, a Chinese financial media outlet posted, Country Garden is done for. Its January sales were only 2.2 billion, down 59% year over year, and with the current trend, there's still no sign of a rebound. Suning's bankruptcy isn't an isolated case. Over the past few years of economic decline, business tycoons like Suning's Zhang Jingdong, Evergrande's Xu Jiayin, and Wanda's Wang Jianlin have all tried to save themselves by financing each other. But now they're realizing that these rescue attempts were completely meaningless. At this point, people have grown numb to China's economic crashes. They've accepted that in today's China, no industry and no corporate giant is safe from collapse. The only thing left to ask is, who's next?